I'm Matt Mitchell from Northwest Indiana Mixtape. I'm here with Brian from Shotgun Zombie. Just gonna ask him a couple questions. So, first off, like, do you guys have any new albums coming out? What are you guys doing there? Touring?
We do. We're working right now on writing the music for our second EP. Probably going to be something we record around July or January, February, somewhere around there, and then put out around next spring or so.
Cool. So, what are you working on for that exactly? Like, is it gonna be feature length? Is it gonna be a little bit like your last one? You going new music style part, possibly? Anything?
It's going to be another EP. Like we're probably going to do at the most like 6 or 7 songs on it. We like to keep it a little shorter so we can put out more music more frequently. We've been writing music since we started. We've got a song that we actually wrote, was one of the first 2 songs we wrote as a band that we haven't released yet at all. So we're gonna make this really good and put it out with our second EP. It is gonna be there's gonna be a couple of heavy songs on it. Like our first EP is obviously all heavy songs for the most part. You know, we've got a lot of like more metal influence on that. This one's gonna have a little bit more of like a pop influence, but it's still gonna have like metal riffs throughout the whole thing. It's gonna have a lot more synthesizer parts, a lot more of like lush synth parts. But we're gonna have a couple songs on there that I think are probably gonna be like our 2 heaviest that we've ever done. So we're gonna go like all different ends of the spectrum on the music is that.
So how you guys self-described metal, pop, rock, and dubstep. Like, how did that come about? How did dubstep get put into that equation? Those are 2 very different genres, and that's very unique. I can't find anybody else like that, actually. So
The band got this idea during when like the dubstep thing was still kind of underground, when a lot of people still hadn't really heard of it. People didn't really know what was going on with it. They were just kind of like, what's this dubstep thing? And I was into it. The other guys in the band were into it. So we're like, you know what? We can do this. We can infuse metal. We can infuse this melodic hardcore we're doing with this dubstep thing. Took a while to really kind of figure out. Like I was producing my own dubstep at the time and like just trying to put it together with everything. So yeah, we kind of knew that was the way eventually probably everything was going to go. Like the mainstream was going to go towards this dubstep sound. And eventually it did, with Britney Spears doing dubstep, Rihanna doing dubstep, and a lot of bands came out that started doing more like wobbles in their stuff and more of that like heavy electronic sound. So we were trying to like catch that wave before everyone else caught the wave, and like we knew it. We weren't anybody. We were just some local band, but what we really wanted to kind of show people was we're this local band. We're these nobodies. We're these 4 guys from Chicago, and we're writing this electronic music with this really heavy metal music and doing pop vocals over the whole thing, and no one else can really do that at our level without like a producer who knows how to do it. So we're like just 4 guys that are all making our own like really intricate, melodic, heavy music all in-house. So I wanted to be that more than I wanted to like catch a wave of like the hype and the big thing.
So, what software do you use? Like Fruity Loops, something like that, or just do it yourself?
I use a couple different things. I use Logic is what I use to like make our music. What I do is I'll record all of our instruments, all of our vocals, all of our everything in Logic, and then I'll use Massive to create all the synthesizers. And I'll use some Logic basic stuff to do like strings and like choir effects and things like that. I use Massive to make all of like the crazy synths, all the really heavy stuff. To perform live, I actually use Ableton, so I can actually like just trigger things. We also kind of knew that we didn't want to be the band that played the backing tracks. So I was like, let's get like MIDI software, let's get a sound card, let's run it all from my computer and have that on stage, so that we actually look like we're doing something. Like instead of like bands that just have like the CD they give to the sound guy and they play to it. And it's been a little bit more work that way. We have to play to a click, we have to play to all this stuff, and I have to trigger different samples at different times to change all the different, to change like tempo, different time signatures and all that. So that's a little bit more work, but I think it's more worth it just to give a better show to the audience.
So, what would you prefer? Like, if people took a dubstep song and then put it to a rock song, or like what you're doing? Because those are 2, like, it comes out similar sound, but they're very different mythologies and like a different purpose almost. So
it's it's definitely tough because it's 2 different types of song. Like I don't think dubstep songs need to be written like actual songs. Meanwhile, our music, we want to write songs. We want to have verse, chorus, and bridge and all that. What I've found is a lot easier is treating synths like they're instruments, as opposed to treating them like they're like this frivolous, cool thing that everyone, oh, that's dubstep in that song. So I write it more like, let's write a song around it, and I'll put the dubstep in there when it's like it's a good part to put it in, or like it's this synth would sound really cool here because it's an instrument. Like it's not just this fluff that's going to make it sound like what everyone wants to hear. It's an instrument, so I'm using it to really add to the song and make it a better song than just making it like we got to have dubstep here because we don't have dubstep, no one's going to like us. So, yeah.
So how'd the band meet? Like how'd you guys form into this conglomerate?
So what happened was I had my own band before this, and Shotgun Zombie already existed. So my friend Brian, who's the guitarist, Brian Sanchez, he already was in Shotgun Zombie, and he was in it with the other members too. Marco is our other guitarist, and Zach is our drummer. So they were already doing the band before, and I went to see him, and I really liked him. But it was a totally different style of music. It was all screaming, all hardcore, a lot more metal riffs, and that was all it was. So all at one time, like my band ended, and I didn't have anybody in my band anymore, and his Shotgun Zombie actually broke up too. So they lost all their members as well. So I got together with Brian, and I said, we both lost all of our members in our band. So why don't we, like, what I said was like, how about you play guitar for my band, and I'll sing for your band. So I'll sing for Shotgun Zombie and play guitar for my band. And we ended up like, we didn't have anybody else. We didn't have like a drummer or bassist or anybody. So I'm like, well, whoever finds a drummer first, we'll go with that band. And I ended up finding a drummer for my band. We jammed on that a little bit, and he didn't really work out. So we ended up getting Marco back in the band to play other guitar, and we started learning the songs that way. But it really got going when we got Zach back in the band, and we said, Zach, we're doing Shotgun Zombie again, and he said, I really want to play with you guys. The way he put it was, I was a better drummer when I played with you guys. So that's our way of like getting him back in was like, come be a better drummer again. And then we just started sitting down and like thinking like, what do we want to do? How do we want to make this music? Do we want to do the same thing? Because I can't scream. I'm terrible at it, and I sound awful when I do it. So yeah, it was just like, let's try this whole different genre. Let's try this whole different style. And that was how we got back together. We just kind of all came back and started a different style.
So how would you say these different things affected your like personal musical evolution through these different styles? Like what'd your other band play compared to this? Was it much different, or?
Yeah, it was way different. My other band was like kind of like a pop rock, pop punk band, very Alkaline Trio style. We actually recorded in Detroit with Craig Owens from Chiodos, and that was like our big thing. But then nothing really happened after that. Like we recorded, nothing happened. But I was kind of learning from this, this production standpoint of how do you write cooler songs, shorter songs, make it so that the audience is really enjoying the music. And I brought that into this. Like I came to this and I said, we can do screaming, we can do all this heavy stuff, but you're going to hit a bigger audience if you don't do screaming, if you don't do just all this constant like heaviness, if you do more melodic parts, if you do more parts that an audience can really sing along to and catch on to, and then if you also do like what they're interested in. So if you do the electronic stuff, if you do the dubstep stuff, people are going to be interested by it. People are going to find themselves like challenged a little bit by it, so they're going to enjoy it more. So that was like my main, I guess, thing was like, let's try something totally different than anything I've ever done as an artist before, but also bringing this this idea of like, let's write better music, let's write better songs for the band. And I'd say like through that, like we've all kind of like benefited each other. I'm teaching them how to write better songs, they're teaching me how to write cooler parts and like all this different parts, because they're probably the most talented guys I've ever had the pleasure of working with. They're just ridiculously talented at what they do.
That's pretty sweet. So, how'd you guys get the name Shotgun Zombie? Because that's a little bit violent compared to your music.
It is, right? Yeah, it's weird because the band, when the band like originally started, they had a different singer even before the last guy that was in the band. They've had a few different singers, and the first guy was a friend of Brian's, and he's like, we got to go with Shotgun Zombie because it just sounds like a hardcore band name. Like, it's something that looks really cool with all that like staggered writing and all that. So that was just the name from then, and it was because they were doing all the hardcore stuff. They kept the name throughout it. When I joined the band, that we talked about like, do we want to change the name? Do we want to make it different? And I'm like, no, let's just keep it. Like, we're going to be writing. We took a lot of songs that were still from the band before, and we took a lot of the same riffs, and I just did different vocals over it and added some different parts to it. So I'm like, oh, no, let's keep Shotgun Zombie. It sounds awesome, and we actually like everyone likes the name. Like, I haven't found someone that just says that's a dumb name for what you're doing. Everyone's like, that's a cool name. I really like that name. I actually ran into William Beckett from the Academy Is recently, and I'm like, we was at like this business, like music business thing, and he was recording a podcast, and I went up to him and say, hey, I'm a fan, a good job tonight, and hey, check out my band. I hand him a business card, and he goes, oh, Shotgun Zombie, that's an awesome name. And I'm like, if that's not validation, that was awesome. Like, everyone's really kind of digging the name. So yeah, even though it's like a really like kind of heavier name and a violent name, like, I don't know, I think it still like kind of fits what we're doing. It's just a cool sounding name, I think. Like, it's just like people will recognize it. It's not something that will kind of blend in with all the other ones. We thought about some other names, and just like, there's bands that have like that word in their name, or they have this part in their name, and it's just kind of like it all blends together. But Shotgun Zombie, I feel like that's like standing out as making a statement, and people are going to say, okay, I remember that name because it's like really strong and really powerful.
So, you guys recently played Riot Fest. How did that come about? Because that's a really big accomplishment for any band, not just like a small band, which you get.
No, that was huge. We so there was this contest that this Chicago website called Do Through and Two. They put on these contests every so often for different festivals or different shows, kind of just to drum up support for it, but also to give like a local band a chance, a smaller band a chance. There were probably about 30, 40 bands that entered it, and I knew that like this is something I want to do. Like, I was so excited for all the bands that were playing Riot Fest this year. It was just such a big thing that I was so excited about, even more than Lollapalooza or anything else of this summer that was happening in Chicago. So I'm like, we got to do this. I want to play this. I want to do this. This would be a huge break, and I get to see all my favorite bands. So we entered the contest, and I really like put everything together for it. So it's like I was focusing so much on like Facebook and Twitter and getting people about it. Just kind of like whatever I can do to really push this to people who have heard us, to people who haven't heard us, to friends of friends, just to get people to vote for us for this. And for the most part, we had it pretty easy. There were a lot of bands that weren't really, they'd do it for the first day, and then they would kind of give up. But from about the first day on, we were either in second or first for the most part, sometimes like third. Couple bands that were keeping close with us, but eventually, we just took over. And then there were 2 rounds of it. We ended up making a couple videos just so we could like kind of promote it, which I think really helped. Like, actually doing videos and putting that content out there really got people involved in it. People were sharing the video. We got a ton more views on it than anything we ever like posted, just because they were like, these are funny videos, they're entertaining, but they're also trying to get people to vote for us. So it was pretty cool that like actually people like rallied around what we were doing, rallied around the videos we made, and sent these out to get other people to vote for us. So second round came, and we got really stressed out. I basically spent 3 straight weeks in front of my computer, like going to work, and still like I'm on the computer at work, so I'm like, opening and closing windows when no one's looking behind me, and like checking our standing, and I'm like, we're in second, we gotta get more votes, and like setting that out. And then just the last week was just constant work. Like, people were like, hey, come out. I'm like, no, I gotta sit in front of my computer for every night until like 1 in the morning, and just getting votes, and didn't sleep, barely ate. I'm just like, I gotta get votes. I'm like seeing votes going by in my eyes when I'm sleeping, and I'm like, I gotta get more people. It was crazy, but yeah, it all definitely paid off because we played Riot Fest.
So what was it like playing Riot Fest? We're sitting here in the park actually where you guys did that, and it's Riot Fest. You got Rise Against, AWOL Nation, The Offspring playing like stages a couple 100 yards away from you. What was that like?
The first day, we were a little nervous because I was thinking to myself, like, our style is not quite Riot Fest style. Riot Fest has been like a punk rock festival in Chicago for years now. Normally they do it at different venues, and they have it at different places, so they kind of like outfit shows around a genre. So they'll have like more of the hardcore punk shows, so they'll have like the classic punk, like they've had like Danzig and like a Misfits reunion sort of thing at the Congress. But this year they were doing it in the park as a big festival, and they had a lot of different genres. They had metal, they had like emo, they had like acoustic folk, they had AWOL Nation would be a good example. AWOL Nation really was kind of one of those bands where I saw them and I'm like, they really don't fit into the genre of this festival, but they have a huge crowd. They've got a ton of people that are really enjoying it. A lot of people are singing along. But it was on Saturday when I actually we were watching August Burns Red, and there were a ton of people that were really, really into it. And I was like, this is how I know that like this festival is going to be good for us. So when we actually played, we had a bunch of people that were standing right over here, and they were really into the music. They were actually really enjoying it. People I've never seen at a show before, people I've never met before, banging their head, just enjoying it, like throwing their hands up, getting really into the show. And I was kind of like surprised, but at the same time, like these are people that are really into our music because there are a lot of bands on this that are similar to us, or at least similar enough to where they can enjoy it. A lot of open-minded people were here. A lot of people that were receptive to different styles, different genres. It wasn't just a punk rock festival this year, which was, I think, probably the best thing that could have happened for us.
Sweet. So, what motivated you guys to mix the whole dubstep with metal thing? I mean, kind of asked that, but like, is there a motivator behind that, or?
I think the motivator is that we want to make music that people enjoy. We came from bands like we know bands. We know a lot of bands that they make music for themselves, and that's totally fine. I totally understand the reason for that. But when we started writing music, we said, I want to write music that people like because I want people to listen to my music. So the dubstep thing kind of came out because I knew that it was going to be a big thing. I knew that people were going to be into it, and I knew that it was going to be all over everywhere. I mean, there's a Internet Explorer commercial with dubstep. There's a Kmart commercial with dubstep. It's everywhere, and now I'm like, okay, good thing we did it, because now people will at least like associate that word with it. And you see a lot of bands like now they're like, well, we have to put dubstep in our music. We have to have that sound in our music, or what are we doing? You know, so we kind of knew that because of that we had to do it before everyone else, which is kind of like, if you're not the first to do it, who cares? So we knew that like we're writing the first two songs of our album. We're writing the first two songs we ever going to have as a band that we're going to perform live. We have to do dubstep in it now, so that now later, like we're actually I'm hoping, and I think we're probably going to move a little bit away from the dubstep sound. I have a lot of friends that are DJs in Chicago, producers in Chicago, and I'm trying to stay up with them so I know like what the latest trend in electronic music is, so that I can at least try new things and do different styles of music, so that it's not like we're only doing dubstep in a day when, you know, in a year or so when people are like, oh, remember when I listened to dubstep? I want to be sure that like we're at the latest trend to make it where people are going to enjoy it, people are going to feel like it's new, people are going to feel like it's fresh, and we're also taking our own approach to it. I know one style we're going to try is it's called trap. Basically, it's rap music, but without like rapping over it. It's kind of like it's electronic music, but with more like hip hop beats. There are a lot of rappers doing it now, like a lot of like 2 Chainz is one. I don't even know who he is, but a lot of my friends are like, oh, 2 Chainz, he's that guy that does like those trap beats. I'm like, all right, sure, whatever. So that's something I want to try. I want to do like just really heavy hip hop beats under like a really metal riff. I'm like, I just think it would be interesting and cool and heavy, and it'd be like something that really kind of like brings these two genres together in a way that no one has done, and I don't know if a lot of people at our level can really do. So hopefully we still appeal to a lot of people without the dubstep label on there, but we'll still always have probably something that has that heavy electronic element in there.
So, what do you think of KMFDM? Yes.
KMFDM. You know, they're a band that I know a lot of friends of mine really enjoy. I couldn't name one song off the top of my head of theirs. But I know, like, I hang out at bars like Exit all the time, and Neo, and there are always people there that are really into bands like that. We played one show with more of like an industrial, like, I don't want to say goth crowd, because it wasn't really a goth crowd. It was definitely more like an industrial crowd, and that was probably one of our better shows for some reason. Like, I don't think we play music that would really appeal to that kind of crowd, but we had a lot of people that were really into it. We had there was a couple that came out from Iowa, and they came for the headlining band, but they got there early enough to watch us, and after they saw us, they were like, you guys are fantastic, I love your music, you guys are amazing. And we played another show that was in December of last year, and we played a show in July, and they actually drove up from Iowa just to come see us. We weren't the headlining band, we played like second, and they came all the way from Iowa, drove 4 hours just to watch us. That was a lot for me. I was like, I can't believe that there's people driving 4 hours away to see us. That's crazy to me. But they also mentioned that they were really in this band, Cyanotic, which is from the Midwest area. I think they're from Chicago, but they're from like the Midwest area, and they're going on tour with Angel Spit, which I guess are like two like kind of industrial bands. It's a national tour that's coming through, and we're actually going to play at Reggie's with them. So we're opening for them. That's December 15th. We're opening for them at Reggie's. That's like our next big show we have too. So yeah, we actually do pretty well with that kind of crowd for like the KMFDM crowd, I guess. But I'm not gonna lie, I don't really know any of their songs.
All right, now we got some fan questions compiled from the internet. I come from there too. Yeah, good place to be. Good place to be.
A lot of cool stuff on the internet.
All right, so Megan Hatch asked, how'd you guys come up with what genre to play?
Yeah, that was. I mean, it was kind of already there. Like the metal riffs and everything were already there. The pop part was really me. Like I'm a big pop music listener. I mean, I would say I don't necessarily enjoy pop music. I just listen to it a lot to kind of get new ideas, and I listen to every genre for the same thing. Like I'll just find new ideas, new cool ideas, cool sounds that I like, cool things that are really catchy, and I'll try to put that in there. So the pop part was definitely from me to add in, you know, catchy vocals, and I've always sang pop music as it is. And the electronic thing was something else that I was really interested in. I wanted to make it. I wanted to do more of it, and it was something that was really catching on. So we wanted to keep pushing towards that part of it too.
Cool. So Amanda Rose asked, what's the hardest thing about being in a band?
Promotion. The hardest thing about being in a band is promoting yourself. I'm finding a lot of bands don't really like to be salesmen. It's really like an artist is not necessarily a great salesman, and it's really hard to like push yourself to people that don't know you to get people to really like your music, to enjoy it, to listen to it, and to support you. Obviously, the main reason you join a band is to make your art, is to make your artistic expression, but your artistic expression isn't going to mean anything to anybody if no one knows what it is, if no one sees it, if no one hears it, if no one listens to it. The hardest part is really getting out of that mindset and getting to the point where you actually want to like go to people you don't know and say, hey, I'm in a band, this is my band, check us out, have that CD, have that business card to hand them and say, you know, go listen to us, go check us out. I think it's something you really would enjoy. That personal connection is really the only way to do that too. There's no way to like go on the internet and message people you don't know on Facebook to send a tweet at somebody. There's no way to do that besides really having that personal connection where you can meet somebody. If you're just talking to somebody at the bar, if you're at another show and you just say, hey, you know, if you're really into this band, you might like my band, here, check us out. There's really no better way to really get fans than to do that. It's something interesting too that you can actually come up with a lot of creative ideas for it. Those videos we made for RIOTFEST were really like the best way for us to get people interested in us, because they were showing our personality, they were showing the artistic expression of what, like kind of where we're going with Shotgun Zombie, where we want people to really like see us, how we want people to view us. And we made these videos to promote ourselves, but also to be content for the band. So people are going to our YouTube channel and they'll see, oh, they entered this contest for RIOTFEST. Oh, but they also won this contest for RIOTFEST. Oh, so this band is like legit. They're making these videos and they've got all this stuff on their YouTube channel, and they're pretty legit for actually winning this contest. So we wanted to find a way to make that promotion also like part of our artistic expression. And it's really not that hard to do. I mean, videos are the easy way. You can find like ways to do it with Twitter. You can design stuff. You can make all kinds of different artistic stuff that really goes into what the music is about and push that to people to where they see and they understand and they comprehend what you're actually trying to do as a band.
That's actually a very legitimate point there. Promotion is everything.
Yeah,
So, Leia Marlowe asked, what's the weirdest show you've ever played, or what's the weirdest autograph you ever had to do?
All autographs are weird to me still, because I still am like very humble about it. I still, we played RIOTFEST and there were people coming up to us and were talking to us and really into us, and they bought, this one person bought a t-shirt, and I was like, yeah, I'll sell it to you, obviously. And they're like, oh, can we get an autograph on it? I'm like, why? I'm nobody. I'm going to see this in eBay in 3 years, hopefully. And then I'll feel like, all right, thank you. The weirdest show we ever played, we were booked at this venue down in, it was on the south side. It was on Taylor Street. I don't know if I really want to say the name of it, just be that guy. But we played at this smaller place, and there was like a big stage set up in one room, and like, okay, you know, maybe the show will be kind of cool, and you know, we'll have a good time. There'll be people here, and we walk into the front door because there's no door into that room. We walk in the front door, and the guy who we were like set up the show with is like, okay, hey, you'll be playing in this room. We look over, and it's just like a corner, and they just set up like 2 speakers in it, and I'm like looking at it like, what? There's a stage in that other room. Why are we playing at this corner? I don't understand. Like, well, we actually double booked the venue, so there's a DJ playing in there, and so you guys will be playing in here, like all excited about it. I'm like, no, I don't understand. Like, we're playing now in like the bathroom, and there's a whole stage set up, and we ended up just it was just weird because like they started charging people, like our friends, and then there was like a post on Facebook like say this code word at the door for no cover, and we're like getting, you know, like 2 people are being charged, and we're basing our like take of the night off the door charge, and then he's just letting people in, and we were really kind of like, first of all, now we're playing in a corner, and we're not making any money off of this when you said that we had to bring a certain amount of people in order to make any money off of it. So I was kind of like, this is just, it's kind of crappy. So we just played, we packed up our stuff and rolled out. Like, we were just kind of like fed up with it. But you get a lot of those shows. We played, that was probably our second one where we really played like just this weird, we played a pizza place. That was in the suburbs. We played like this pizza place, and we kind of walked in. Before I even went in the venue, my guitarist was like, yeah, this place is basically a Chuck E. Cheese. They're like, no, we're not playing to a Chuck E. Cheese audience. We're not going to be those animatronic robots up on stage, like, singing folk songs or something, you know? So I go in, and it's not a Chuck E. Cheese at all. It's like a bar. It's like a pizza place bar. And the venue was nice. Like, the stage was kind of weirdly shaped. Like, it was kind of in a corner, too, but it, like, extended out. But we were just, there was nobody really there. It was like off the beaten path. No one really knew it was there. No one was really coming out. So we were kind of like, well, we'll just play this and see what happens. But they at least were really nice and gave us free pizza and free beer. So I'm like, well, that's at least that benefit of it. But you always get those shows. You're always going to have those shows where you play in a weird spot or to nobody, and they're always feeling a little awkward. You're like, it's like, I feel like our music is like really like big, and we're playing like these like crazy, you know, shredding metal riffs, and we have like all the dubstep going, and there's like 3 people watching it, just like sitting down at a table, drinking their beer, eating their slice of pizza, just like, all right.
Whatever.
Yeah, whatever, guys.
So, Elizabeth Wilk asked, what do you do in your free time? Which, a little bit of stalkery there, but okay, whatever.
Well, Elizabeth, my free time, if I have any, yeah, I work 40 hours a week, and then I spend the rest of the time really kind of like focusing on the band lately. Trying to think of what I did in my last free time. I mean, yeah, I have a lot of friends that like do like DJ nights, and they have parties. I actually DJ a rock party on Monday nights at Exit. It's one of the things I do in my free time. Yeah, I hang out at my friends' events and just have a good time. Just try to step away from my computer for a couple hours, because then I go home and I'm just like, I need to tweet something, which is, I know, a problem. Like, I gotta get away from Twitter and Facebook and all that. But yeah, it's the life of a band. You kind of use that free time to really do something for the next thing. I'm all about the next thing for us. So
Sweet. So, Michael Sullivan asked, how long have you been playing?
Me personally, I've been singing for a long time. Started doing a lot of the more like production stuff in the past. I want to say, like, I started with GarageBand. Like, I was one of those kids who got a Mac and started doing GarageBand around my freshman year of college, which was 2005. I started doing a lot of the electronic stuff around then, and just kind of putting stuff together and singing over it. I know my guitarist has been playing for years. A drummer's been playing for years. He comes from a musical family. Yeah, we've all been in different bands all throughout the years. A bunch of bands all at the same time. It's just different stuff. But yeah, I'd say we've been playing for since childhood, doing all of our music stuff since childhood.
Similar question by Becca Blazing says, what got you into music?
Try to think of what got me into good music. I was always into music, but there was a certain time when I kind of flipped that switch and said, now I'm into good music. Back in the day, what got me into music was I used to do like musical theater. Actually, I did like plays in that, and really kind of found out I could sing, and really enjoyed singing, enjoyed doing the acting and singing together. Um, then I really started like finding what music I really liked, what bands I really liked, and then kind of realized like this is what I want to do. I want to make music for the rest of my life because I love these bands, and I love the fact that they get to do all this amazing stuff and write beautiful music and get to go do that every day of their life and still support themselves, have a place to live, have food to eat, all that kind of stuff. So that was what I guess really got me into music, was finding the bands that really spoke to me, that spoke to people I knew, got some friends involved and got people that were really into the same thing, and found like my place in the world and what I could really do for the rest of my life to be who I am today.
Pretty sweet. One final question, not from anybody in particular. Well, first of all, shoes or boots?
I prefer boots.
What kind of boots? That's favorite brand, Docs or whatever.
Like, I forget what these are called. They're like Bullworth or something like that. I bought them like 3 years ago, and every time I'm like, they break, like the zipper will break or something like that, and I'm like, damn, I gotta go find new boots. And I'll go to the store and I'll be looking for boots, and I just can't find anything I like as much. So I've just had these boots like repaired constantly for 3 years, because I'm like, I cannot find a pair of boots I like as much as these. And not even from the same company anymore. They don't sell them like at the same store or anything like that. So I just like keep getting these boots repaired. I'm like, I really need to find a new pair of boots, because I need to stop having just this one pair of boots that I keep getting repaired.
Well, that's pretty crazy. I would just buy, I don't know, whatever I can. Alright, well, I'm Matt Mitchell from Northwest Indian Mixtape, here with Brian from Shotgun Zombie. Been a nice little interview time. See you.
Bye.